He also proclaims God's message of love to them. Time and again, the prophets are rejected. They're rejected because their message is too hard, because their message is one of God's judgment. And yet God sends him out and sustains him through it. God does that too to us. God gathers us to send us out into the world, into a world that desperately needs to hear the message of God's love. I think I've told this story before, but a couple of weeks ago, our youth went to help out at the 5K, 10K run in Fort Wayne, the River City Rat Race. We were at about mile 5 along the 6-mile route, handing out water. We brought instruments, drums and things for the kids to play. We were cheering as they were coming on. People would come in, they would take a cup of water, and they would continue on their way. That, in essence, is what we as a congregation are called to do. We're a water station. We are called, people come in needing spiritual nourishment, water, sustenance. They get it, and then they go out. That's what we're called to do. You know, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be voting on a new mission statement and goals. A new mission statement that really is a faith statement. Because we're saying that here at Calvary, Jesus is at work. Jesus is at work, and part of the way that Jesus is at work is Jesus is sending us out as his servants. We've got some concrete ways that we think God is leading us forward in that. One of them is to adopt Lancaster Elementary School just down the road. God is calling us to step out into those classrooms, to read to young kids, to be a mentor, to help make photocopies for teachers when they need it. Whatever the school needs. God's already at work there. We're being called to walk alongside, to help, to serve in Jesus' name, to serve the least of these children. I don't know in what ways God will call you individually, but I do know this from my own experience with callings, like calling to your mom. Callings are a place where we find God's fulfillment in our lives. That when we step out in faith and follow God, that's where we find purpose and meaning and joy. There are so many in this community who need to hear the message of Jesus' love for them. You realize in our American culture, the largest group growing in terms of religious affiliation are the nuns. And no, I am not talking about convent nuns. They probably are getting smaller. Talking about those who write N-O-N-E. None. No religious affiliation. They're the ones that are growing. They're the ones that need to hear the message of God's love. Jesus is sending us out to them to share the good news, to invite them to come and see, to come to church. Years ago, I learned that if a pastor goes and asks somebody to come to church, they'll probably get about a 20% positive response. 1 in 5. But if one of you goes out and says, come, it's 4 in 5. 80%. You all are called to go out and bring people in. Say, come and see, so that they might be fed and they too might go out and share that message of God's love. It is scary when God encounters us directly. We want our filters so that we don't see God face to face. We don't want to be the ones that are carrying the message of God's love because it's hard. Yet we do encounter him directly. We encounter him directly right here in bread and wine. That's where we get Jesus. Viscerally, tangibly. We get God's love incarnate in Jesus. And then God sends us out to invite others in where they too can experience God's grace.